You know how fast you were going?
What? How fast you were going?
I don't know. 10?
8.
Be advised, this is an explicit podcast. If you're easily offended, get your panties twisted into a knot. Leave now. Run to your safe space. Get your little cloth for your tears. All the opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and his guest and do not reflect the opinions of any local or government agency. Welcome to MOTORCOP Chronicles podcast. I'm your host, Iceman. We're going to get the housekeeping out of the way real quick. We actually have a guest today, and we want to get jumped into that. If anybody wants a great cigar, go to mypatriotcigar.com. Use promo code MOTORCOP15. Get 15% off your order. Small business here in the U.S. They're grade A cigars. Go get you some, or send Holster some. You know, he never had any. Now, if anybody wants any merchandise, got one of the older shirts on here. You can go to Etsy, the MOTORCOP Chronicles podcast store on Etsy, or go to the website, motorcopchronicles.com, and all the links are in the bottom for everything down there. If you want extra episodes, if you want more of me running my mouth and pictures and videos and all that other good crap, you can go to Patreon. 3 different tiers. We're going to shout out our full crew members real quick. We got Kelly Meyer. We got Mr. Jared Nitrous, MotorCop for Life. We got Mr. William Gibo Jr. We got Dan Carlson with Burley Board. Y'all go check out his products. Like I always say, his cutting boards are fantastic. You can use them to whip your kids, smack a bad guy in the head, or if you're feeling up to it, you can spank your wife with it. We got T-Bird. We got Jim Procrant from the Short Track Guys podcast. If you like y'all's dirt track racing, go check him out. We got our favorite truck driver, Hoppy Hoppison, Mr. Blake Walker, and of course, A.A. Ron from the I Had to Say It podcast. We got Mr. Z Palmer. We got Roy Spalding. That's Roy with the S, not Roy with the P. JoJo, our favorite Australian girl from down under, and Natasha A. from the state of Washington. Appreciate y'all helping me pay the bill. And if you can't afford to get Patreon, I understand. Our economy's kind of screwed up right now, so do what you do. I'm going to keep putting out the free stuff anyway. And well, let them introduce themselves, because y'all know I'm not good with names. Y'all hear me talk all the time. How you doing?
Good, Iceman. I'm doing great.
You know, let the people introduce yourself, give me background.
Yeah. My name is Monty Bynum. I go by Monty B. I just recently retired from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. Spent the last 32 years in public service, about 25 years in law enforcement, and a little stint in the military. So, yeah, I'm happy to be here, brother.
Well, thank you for all the service you did.
Yeah, man.
I mean, that's a long time. You over there in Georgia. What part of Georgia?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
What part of 100%. Georgia were you in?
I'm in Atlanta. So, but ran around the whole state, and in and out of Alabama and South Carolina and Tennessee, doing all kind of stupid things. So,
couldn't been that stupid. He's still free.
Well,
hey, well, today's climate, you don't even have to mess up to end up in jail. You could just be on the wrong end of a video.
You said it, Iceman. Absolutely, 100%. 100%. I don't know how these guys do it, man. Seriously.
Well, that's fine. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're gonna do drop? You're gonna do this?" And I'm like,
and I don't know, the stuff that we got started. We would have been on the other side of those bars.
Oh yeah. I told people all the time, rookies, I'm like, y'all will never get to experience law enforcement the way I got to experience it before cell phone cameras. I mean, because a lot of times they were like, no. Of course, I don't know if I tell everybody back in the day, bad guys to me were different. Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, I had a guy, tried to jump out my car while I was moving. We had a little incident on the side of the road, and next day at the jail, they came in, and he had 2 or 3 bruised ribs, and they asked him if he wanted to file a complaint against me for excessive force. And this guy's, and be honestly, he probably had a little bit of legitimate complaint, let's say, and but the bad guy looks at him and said, "Nope, I started it, he finished it, we good." And that way back in the day, it was actually like that. People didn't even think about, bad guys didn't think about suing the cops. We didn't think about suing other people. I mean, it just wasn't like that.
No. Yeah. It's funny you say that. I can definitely distinctly remember, that kind of stuff. I mean, right now we get blamed for, those guys get blamed for everything. They get blamed. I'm surprised they're not getting blamed for the weather. It's just nonsense, man. It's just silly. Come on, it's time to really man up and decide, what do you want to be? You want to be, a society run by, a bunch of knuckleheads, or we gotta grow up. That's the problem.
We see how that's working out.
Yeah. Well,
look at some of them cities: Seattle, Portland, New York, San Diego, and I'm always on my other ones. I tell you, I'm like, get out of California, it's a shithole. When people's like, well, I'm like, hey, don't feel offended that I called your state or your city a shithole. I'm right outside of Baton Rouge and New Orleans. I'm in between them, okay? And they're both shitholes too. So I just call it how I see it.
Yeah.
I don't go, I wouldn't feel safe going visit her, have my wife going or kids going. It's a shithole.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how's it working out for them? It's not.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's, like I said, back in the day when you and I started, we had Miami Vice, we had all these cool cop shows, and different people felt different about cops. And, it's schizophrenic out here, man. It really is,
Who did want to be? I wanted to be Crockett. I mean, I admit it.
What's that?
I always wanted to be Crockett. I admit it. You get Tubbs and Crockett.
Right,
of course, I always like Punch too.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good one too.
Oh yeah, today's times is everything is blamed on mental health, which there is. I'm the first one to admit there is a large mental health problem in the United States, and the problem is because I didn't experience. The way I experienced it was not because of me, but because an ex-wife of mine. And you can put somebody in a mental hospital, and they will keep them there and try to work with them until your insurance runs out. And as soon as your insurance runs out, they kick you out the door. And like, and guess what? It's this big cycle that never stops.
Yeah.
So until they fix that, but they understand, you calling the cops because Billy Bob is having a mental episode.
Right.
All right. We're not trained psychologists. And when you send a cop over there and somebody is threatening us with a weapon or a knife or a board or anything else, and they come at us, I'm going to defend myself.
Yeah. By the way, a trained psychologist couldn't handle that any better. Having an episode, that's so funny. Like, there's a limit to certain tactics. You know what I mean? Like, I love how they want to criticize, but, hey, by all means, take your turn. Here you go.
Here you go. Well, you say with some of them cities, they're talking about, we're going to have mental health professionals respond. I'm like, are they? First of all, what if you have any that's going to respond without the cop with them? That person needs to have mental health done, because they're not going to last very long. They're going to get murked out real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, they tried that one too. They realized that was not a smart decision. So, yeah, it's weird. Like, these people come up with half-baked ideas, and then the rest of the sheep kind of say, "Yeah, that sounds good." I don't get it. Like, I mean, can we just go forward a couple steps and try and kind of realize that maybe we need to do a little bit more than just these half-baked ideas.
Yeah, well, the whole defund the police thing, when that came out, I was like, what? I mean, the area I live in is, well, I'll just say it's real red.
Yeah.
Where I work at now is a blue area, but where I live at is put it this way: when you pull into of course, we have parishes in that county. When you pull into, when you're coming into the parish where I live at, they have billboards out on the interstate and stuff when you're coming in, even on some of the back local roads. And it's a big picture of the sheriff up there, and it says, "Welcome to Livingston Parish. We love our schools, our churches, and our Second Amendment. Enjoy your stay." So,
yeah,
I mean, you can take that as you want to take that. So it's like, yeah, people's like, well, I don't, like where I live, we have some crime, but the crime we do have is like more of burglaries when nobody's home or something, thefts.
Yeah.
We don't have kick-ins and carjackings and all that stuff like that, because you'll go to somebody's house while they're home around here, you're going to get shot. I mean, they're going to shoot you, and then they're not going. They're going to shoot you and call a cop and say, "Hey, this dude was on my property stealing this crap, and I shot him." And the sheriff's office will come out and say, "Okay, well, have a nice day," as they take the body away. So it's happened. Yeah. It's happened. Yeah. Then it's like, but it keeps the crime down. Everybody's like, "Oh, y'all are so dangerous." I'm like, no, I mean, I got my first gun when I was 8 years old. I got my first shotgun, when I was 8. And it's like that's the way I was raised up. I mean, we were taught, me and my sister were talking not long ago. 'Cause I'm a Gen Xer, of course. We were talking. It's like we grew up in the country in the woods, and my mom, they kicked us out the house, and the mom's like, "Where y'all going with that shotgun?" "We're just going in the woods." "All right, don't shoot each other with it." Right. And we'd be gone all day, shooting stuff. Birds, it didn't matter. But we never shot each other. Never thought about it. But it's like, that's just how I was raised up. And it's like, so people are like, what? I'm like, yeah, we were raised up to respect guns. I mean, we had guns, we toted guns with us when we were 10.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It's funny, you're right. Parents, trust us or had no other choice or what, I don't know. But all of a sudden now we just can't let kids out of our sight. They're not grown up. It's sad. I don't know what happened to us too, because sometimes I catch myself. I remember, we didn't have a cell phone, dude. We gone.
No, we're gone all day. Come back when the street lights come on.
We'd be miles away on our bikes and no cell phones, no nothing, and we. Fine. We knew exactly, hey, a half an hour before it gets dark, you better be home.
Yep. Oh, it's like, well, I've never, my stepdaughter, I got a whole bunch of grandkids, even with my real daughter, so like that. But like my little granddaughter, she's 6 now. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm going to tell you what happened to things. It's called helmets. They got to put helmets on kids for everything now.
Yeah.
She started riding. She finally, got away from training wheels and went to the two-wheel. And I'm like, well, what are y'all doing? I said, let's go ride the bike. And they're like, hold on. I was like, my God, she's not going to be able to pedal with all that shit she's got on her. You got arm pads, knee pads, helmets. I was like, my God. I said, we didn't have that stuff. We survived. I said, I fell out of a truck. I fell out of a pickup truck when I was like 9 and fell on the ground, and my dad stopped and said, "You break anything?" I was like, "I don't think so." He said, "If you tell your mom, I'll kick your ass." Got back in the truck and went home. I mean, are you dead? I mean, but no, it's I don't. My kids, I didn't raise my kid. My kids wasn't raised like that. My daughter will tell you. I got called from the school one time, and when she was like in the 2nd grade, because she was acting up, and I showed up at the school. I pulled her out to school. Pulled her out of her class, beat her ass in the hallway. I spanked her. When I say beat, people are like, "Oh, you beat your kid." I spanked her. Okay, I spanked her on her butt, and I told her, I said, if I ever have to come up here again because of you misbehaving, I'm going to do this in front of your entire class and embarrass you. Do you understand me? Guess who never got called to the school ever again?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I mean, it's just weird. I don't know what to say.
So, do you have any? Let me ask you this: I got one of my co-hosts on Wednesdays, Freebird. He was never a full-time cop, but this dude did like 15 years of reserve work. This dude did 15 years of work in the streets as a cop for free. Okay, he don't do it no more. This dude, I mean, yeah. And our reserves, after they got out of reserve training, they would work solo, just like we did. This dude was working solo in a uniform patrol unit for free. Just because he loved it so much. But one thing he never did get in his whole entire time was a naked call.
Okay.
And if you did narcotics, I know narcotics got some naked call stuff, because you can't go to a crackhead house without dildos and stuff laying all over the place.
That's always, that. So that's the thing. That's always there's bets on who's gonna find it in the drawer. What are you gonna find when you're playing around with these guys and like, hey, I got something. Hey, come over. I found them load. And it's all these, toys and devices, and you're like, that's funny. Yeah.
So you got any good naked call?
Man, just good naked call. I mean, we had, you always get the ones that are running around naked and in the apartment complex, and just so many. It's now that I think now you got me off track, because that's not where I was headed. Just
like we had one dude that this guy who he says was packing a baseball bat between his legs, started chasing him around with his dick, and he was like running from the guy, didn't want to get him.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Wow.
Because you could never live that down.
No. That's hilarious. Please.
Oh yeah, I've had the naked calls. Women, especially on traffic stops, I've had them, flash, have a tit, and I'm like, yeah, it's not gonna work. Then when they realize they're still getting a ticket, they'll put that shit away. He was like, "You're not gonna say?" I was like, "No." I was gonna tell you what, right now, I would give a ugly woman with warts on her face a break before I give a pretty girl a break, because that's gonna be the one that complains on you.
Right, exactly, 100%. That's funny.
I did narcotics for about a month, maybe, if it was that long. When I first started, they threw me with a narc guy and had me out buying crack.
Yeah.
I hated that. I found out real quick I was just not a narcotics guy. I wasn't scared of it. I just hated it. I just hated, I just hated that part of the job. Then I went in the uniform, which I liked, and I finally got to be, I always loved traffic, so I ended up being a traffic cop, investigating crashes and all that stuff like that. And that's just, I found my niche. That's why I tell everybody, like, you're almost 30 years, you weren't a detective. I've passed detective spots up. Never interested me. I always enjoyed investigating crashes. I felt like, I liked writing tickets, but I feel like I might have saved that person's life up the road if I stopped them for speeding. I mean, so that's why everybody has their niche.
Well, that's the thing. Everybody tries to. They're on the outside, really, that don't understand law enforcement. It's you need it all. This you really need it all. I mean, Baby Cop, when I started, we're a very, very small agency, like 12-man unit, all the way up to 1,000+ unit agency, a state investigative agency. Federal. I've been a federal task force, officer, all kind of stuff. But it's nothing like having that full team doing all kind of stuff. Like I didn't like doing accidents. My buddy, on the sector partners loved it. So I would take his domestics and he would take my accidents. I loved, the domestics.
Oh, see, I hated domestics too. Yeah, I could never be like juvenile cops. Oh my God, them people have to have patience of steel dealing with them little crotch goblins over there, because they know that you can't hit them or nothing like that, and they will just make you want to just wring their little necks. Couldn't do it. It's like, you little bastard.
That's funny.
It's like you have parents. I busted some kids with weed. This was umpteen years ago, like a quart-sized bag full of weed, and I started calling parents. And one of the moms out there says, "Can I smell it?" Thinking it's this bitch, thinking it's hers or something. She's missing her freaking weed. It's like, no, you can't smell it. Your kid's got you worry about smell. I'm sure the kid's probably in prison right now. That kid's probably in prison.
Yeah, that's the sad truth. I mean, we're laughing, but it's true.
So, what do you think? Like I said, back when you first started, it's close when I wasn't too far behind you, and we went from weed to crack. I remember crack was ginormous, man. That's all you used to get was crack, and now it's went from meth, then it went to meth, crystal, whatever you want to call it, ice. Then it went to now it's this fentanyl crap. Yeah,
it's crazy, man. It is. It's been wild, man. I started, back in the day. I started, in Ocean City, Maryland, working as a beach narc, and it was weed and mushrooms and what we call trips like LSD, and then I came home to my home department in Newcastle County, Delaware, and crack was big then, really big. And then when I got out of the Marine Corps, I came back to law enforcement in Georgia, and we had everything in Georgia because we're actually a hub on the, believe it or not, and we have everything, man. All kind of big meth, big cocaine.
Boy, Atlanta's a ginormous city.
Yeah, that's right. And so, man, I worked on a DEA task force for nearly 9 years, and the amount of stuff that's going on here, man, would just make you, just make your hair turn white. It's just crazy.
Well, out in the country where I work, our thing was, we had like certain streets,
Yeah.
We knew where we used to go sit down there in uniform patrol when we were slow, and we'd sit there, and people would come creeping down the streets, and we'd flick our lighters at them. You know what we were doing? Flicking our lighters at them. They'd pull up, and it's like, oh shit, that's the cops. Because if people listen, that's what they used to do. I don't know if they did it everywhere, but in areas that the crack dealers would flick their lighters, not just where it sparked, and they'd pull up, and they would be us sitting there, because we would get out. Because they'd stand outside and they'd have like a little fire, and they'd be standing around their fire waiting to people to drive by and sell their crack during the wintertime. Well, we would pull up and get out and pull out some old metal hangers and shit and pop some weenies out and start roasting weenies on their fire. And the crackheads didn't really want us hanging. They would leave. The crack dealers would leave because now the cops are here roasting weenies on their fire.
Right. Wow.
Oh, yeah, but like I said, I remember working crack, and then the meth shit hit, and, of course, we were out in the country, so, all these dang rednecks they're cooking freaking meth, and you know how dangerous that is, freaking meth lab would blow, and you had to be careful. I was on SWAT, and we would train and train, just going, we'd be training just going in meth houses, because you knock over the wrong thing, chemical, you'd explode. So, it was a crazy time.
Yeah, it's still a crazy time. It's I don't know about you, but I know you're coming to the end, but I am
happy to be out.
Happy to be out. I didn't think I would. I thought I would die with my badge and my gun in my hand, but something changed last year, and I was like, you know what? I'm good. It's time to go.
Well, I'll tell you, I've told a lot of people, it makes me nervous, the closer I get, but the wife wants me out, the way stuff is nowadays. And, she's like, she's a guy just, and it's true. I tell everybody, it's like, I'm like, you one good arrest away from being viral on CNN.
That's right.
You can do your job 100% right, and the news pick it up, clip it, and there you go. And even if you found right, your career's still over with.
Yeah. My buddy just sent me an article, out of Philadelphia. Trooper stops. It was a good stop, but apparently it was the wrong person politically, and he's in trouble. someone pulls up behind him and is ranting a rave and giving him a hard time because this person is supposedly politically connected.
Yeah, that's the one that I knows when you're talking about the he made a legitimate stop in the person's husband, boyfriend. I don't know. I think they're some gay people or whatever. I think the one he pulled over, the tranny or something like that. But the other car pulls up behind him. Let me tell you what, that's happened to me a lot of times. And you know what happened? I cleared leather because now I'm surrounded. I have a car in front of me with people in it. I don't know who they are, and I just gotta.
Who in their right minds would do that? Like, I mean, again, in my mind, how we've been trained, someone doing us harm.
Oh yeah,
do us harm.
You done pinned me in. You have me surrounded, and that's happened to me before. And not the people, thank God, didn't have bad intentions on their mind. But you know, I used to work interstate a lot, and where I was out there by myself. My closest backup was 20, 30 minutes away, and you know, I pulled up. I had this car pulled over, and next thing I know, I got this other car pulled up behind me, and I'm like, I cleared leather. I had my gun point. I'm trying to watch the car in front of me, but and now I got my gun pointed at the people behind me, and I'm like, they're like, I'm like, I said leave. I said leave now, and they drove off. They pulled up farther up. Couldn't find out it was somebody's. I don't know. They were traveling together. I said the best thing for them to do is they can go park half mile up the road and they perfectly fine and wait. Don't pull up behind me. Right. I don't know what y'all about. I'm thinking I'm getting ambushed at this point, you know. And I know I wouldn't. No, that cop didn't do anything wrong. And the other guy that pulled up behind him just totally refused all commands. Yeah. You know, and of course, you know, I work for the mayor or whoever, the governor, whoever this person worked for, and it's like, well, to me, the mayor ought to be saying, why are you throwing my name around? Exactly. But he wasn't. He wasn't an embarrassing guy. Now this guy is on desk duty. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Why would anybody, like, I don't care how much you pay me. Why would you put yourself at such peril? Like, legitimately did everything right. Well, what about where is it? I don't remember where it's at. It's this story happened earlier last year, middle of last year. This cop made a traffic stop and had two people in the car. Driver gets out, refusing his ID. They end up getting in a fight. Bad guy or something. It's a fight for a while. Cop ends up pulling his gun out and shooting the guy in the back of the head or something while they were fighting. Cop was getting gassed. The guy grabbed his taser from him and shit. Yeah. I watched it several times. Even everybody else in law enforcement saying good shoot. They had this guy being tried. They trying this dude for murder right now. Where? I forget where it was at. But they're trying the cop for murder. He pulled the gun out and he shot the dude like here, but the guy grabbed his taser or something. I'm pretty sure in all your years you've been in the fights. Yeah. People don't realize you're fighting for your life. You're going to gas quick. Yeah, they think it's like 2 hits on movie. They watch too much. I mean, your adrenaline's going. You got everything else going. I mean, he's on top of your. You know, this. I mean, you like just being in contact takes a lot of energy out of you. And then you're excited. You're trying to call for backup. You're trying to look for. It's just nonsense. It's just complete nonsense. If people actually trained one day to see what it's like. How in a split second, and again, you grab my taser, that's deadly force. Yep. That's when we do it. Because if you use that taser on me and you incapacitate me, now you can get my weapon from me. Period. Right. And it's I wish they would have. I wish more departments, any departments, would start doing shoot houses for civilians. Yeah. Once a year, a couple times a year, you go on. Yeah. You can sign your waivers for stuff, use ammunition rounds, and let's do don't shoot. Yeah, I guarantee you they're gonna shoot a bunch of unarmed people. Yeah, they did that a couple times up here in Georgia with the FAT system, simulate, and people would come in and they were talking a lot of smack, and they'd leave out shaking, just like, oh my God, I never knew it was so hard. And these weren't like they're not complex, multiple, situations. People walking in and out and doing all. No, they're pretty simple scenarios, and nearly 90% of them failed.
and then they change their attitude completely. You're 100% right.
Oh yeah, thanks. Well, a lot of one of my co-host guys, some people say, "Well, Iceman, why didn't you?" I'll see stuff come out in the news, and I'm like, I want to get on and talk about it on the podcast, and I don't. I wait, and I'm usually behind everybody else, but I don't want to get on there and start talking about it when all they're putting on there is a 10-second clip.
Yeah,
I can't. I mean, all right, where's the rest of it at? Where's the rest of it? Because usually then all these people are on there running their mouth about shit, and then the rest, then they release the whole body cam, and it's like, yeah, they didn't have all that on that cell phone they clipped off of it, So it's like,
yeah, that was part of the great thing of working with GBI. That was our responsibility, is to go investigate these officer-involved shootings, and a lot of times people think that it's all cut and dry. It's not. Nothing is. That's the movies, man. It's different angles, and then by the time you break leather and start to pull the trigger, guys already in front of us or behind us. Things don't stand still like that, it's not always clear cut.
I heard people say, "Why don't y'all shoot him in the leg?" I'm like, what?
I love that one.
I'm like, what? Yeah. It's like, hold on a second. First of all,
how many people would be shooting in the leg then? That's what people don't even realize. Well, why did you shoot him in the leg? Well, because he had a bad attitude.
Yeah, I just shot him in the leg.
Yeah,
but
so,
my thing is
for somebody to tell us what to do, how do I do our job? It's crazy.
But it's like, y'all watch too much TV. Why they shoot him 6 times?
Yeah.
Because that's probably took 6 times for him to stop coming at me. It's not the movie. In the movie, you get shot one time. You can shoot somebody in the elbow in the movies, and they will die right there.
Yeah,
right, just drop dead.
Yeah, the pistol, they shoot him and they get blown across the room.
It's like, what the hell did he shoot him with?
I've never seen that one. So, and I've seen some stuff, but again, these are the people that are gonna stand in judgment of us, and it's a little scary now. So
you never had to get in any
couple, yeah. I mean, in both in civilian and in military, yeah. And it's the first time, man, you break leather and then you pull rounds. That's a pucker factor, because you're like, you immediately start thinking, did I do the right thing? Start
second guessing yourself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then what the civilians don't realize either. They're like, oh, this and that. It's like, let me tell you what, it ain't TV. That cop's at home going through every second in his head over and over and over and over again, wondering if he did the right damn thing.
Yep.
What if in himself to death?
I love how the movies show where they shoot somebody and they don't have a problem. They're off like doing whatever.
Well, they back at work the next day.
right.
Yeah, like I like to show that TV show SWAT they had. Yeah. It's like when I watch, it's like these people are constant, or all these cop shows, they're like shooting people all the time, and I'm like, it's like this dude. I mean, if you shoot 2 people, you might as well. That's all you doing for the rest of the year. You off for the year. That's it. And they really get to investigate you, because if you shot somebody and then come back to work and then shot somebody again, they can be like, hey, hold up a minute. You collected too many bodies here.
That's it's funny.
Well, of course, CSI. I had a lady one time told me, she's like, somebody had knocked her mailbox down with like a big branch off of a pine tree.
Mm-hmm.
So I get out there. That's when I still uniform. I get out there, and she's like, well, I'm like, all right, so you see anything, hear anything? No, I just come out there. It's like, all right, well, that's all you're going to do? I said, well, man, that's all I can do. You're not going to fingerprint that limb? I'm like, man, I can't fingerprint a pine tree limb. Well, they do on CSI. Okay, let me tell you something. And I have very little patience all my career. That's why I never made it past sergeant. But it's like, man, they also solved 2 murders in 60 minutes. Okay, right. This was way back in the day. I'm like, DNA evidence. It takes like 6 months just for DNA evidence to come back. Now, It's like, no, I cannot fingerprint the limb. And I'm thinking to myself, even if I could, it's a $5 mailbox. Just
right.
go get another one, okay? The local kid probably knocked it down playing. It's a pain in the ass and it pisses you off, yes. But oh yeah, they expected you to do that.
Right. It's weird. Like, you kind of think, does everybody lose their friggin' mind? Like, as cops, we're like sitting here, are you serious? But you're serious. Like, that happens all the time. How many, how many burglaries have you been to where you're doing the fingerprint dust and doing what you can? There are no friggin' prints.
Yeah.
That's all to do. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, we do the best we can.
Sent me to a burglary.
Yeah.
Somebody stole like all this fishing equipment out of this brand new $60,000-$70,000 bass boat.
Yeah.
Brand new. I'm like, you got any cameras? You got any of this? And of course, all this stuff was 20 plus years ago because I've been in motors 20 years. But so a $60,000 bass boat, I mean, that's like $100-something thousand nowadays. I write everything down and I could get the list, so I could get as much as I could and for the reporting and detectives and stuff. And the guy looks at me, he's like, well, you ain't gonna fingerprint? I'm like, there's nothing for me to get. It wasn't like smooth. It wasn't nothing smooth. It was all there. I'm like, sir, I'm not gonna get anything off of this. Well, I want your fingerprint. I'm like, oh. Well, I called my supervisor at the time, and I was like, hey, I mean, this dude's bitching. He's wanting me to fingerprint, and he's like, fuck it, fingerprint. And I was like, this is a brand new boat. I said, it's got a white interior.
Yeah. He's
like, fuck it. If he wants you to do it, do it. Because you know what that graphite dust's going to do. You can't get that shit out once it's in there.
Right.
I was like, sir, you sure you want me to fingerprint? I want you to fingerprint everything. Okay. I started slinging dust. When I left out there, I looked like Pigpen. I had dust all over my face, okay? I mean, it was just, I took that shit everywhere.
That's awesome.
And I guarantee you that boat probably still has graphite dust on it if it ain't stunk no more, because that shit's not coming out.
Right.
But my boss said if he wants to give it to him, I'm like, okay, I'll do it. But they just don't get it. You're gonna love this one. But I guarantee you, even 30-something years, you never had a complaint like this one. I got called to a rape complaint. I get there, talk to the lady. I was like, well, ma'am, what happened? Is it? She says, my neighbor's dog came over here, who's a mutt, and raped my dog, who is a purebred.
Oh, Lord.
I said, did your dog ever say stop? She's like, she looked at me like I was crazy. I said, did she resist in any type of way or anything? Oh, she got so mad at me. But I mean, I wrote the report too. Like that dog came over. I mean, but she called to report her dog getting raped. I said, I guarantee you, your dog's in heat and had that little tail all up in the air. But you want to report your dog being raped. Welcome to law enforcement, right?
Yeah, that's unbelievable. And we do. This is the stuff that people don't realize. Oh my goodness, man! It's just, what happens to people? I don't even like. That's what happens to us, right? We go through these calls with all these knuckleheads and all these people out there, and we're like, we can't mess with these people. They don't think the same way we do. We don't want to be around like this is what we're going to be. We're going to catch some of that stupidity. We don't want none of that on us. I mean, who thinks like that? It's just crazy.
So, well, since you've out, how's your transition went into civilian life? Because that's what I've been trying to figure out. How am I going to transition? And people are like, "What?" I said, transition to a normal person. I don't think we can ever become normal people.
We are, and this is what I say, Iceman. You know this, man. We're a different breed, brother. We're just a different breed. We think differently. We act differently. We do different. We don't need the gun badge, to go and do. We would, if something happened, we would be the ones that step up and do something. Transition's been good, man. I mean, I should have truthfully left 2 years prior to that. I had already start, it's time to go when little things start to irritate you. And I, for the most part, I had a happy career. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was Some days were, a real kick in the nuts, because you're out there, 3 days on surveillance and, sleep in your car and stuff. But I enjoyed it. Transition has been fabulous, man. I was lucky to take the advice of an FTO early on who said, man, I hope you start developing some income on the side outside of this cop job, because if you don't, you're going to be beholden to these guys. And I took his advice and started buying real estate and buying other businesses and developing other things. And throughout the years, had the opportunity to kind of leave. And now that's what I do, man. I get to stay with my tribe, my people, my first responders, because, we're just different. And I teach them, how do we do this? Because, everybody, this, we all have side hustles. We all have these crazy, businesses. I'm gonna have a crawfish farm. I'm gonna have a camel farm. I'm gonna have, I'm gonna grow goat cheese or whatever. And so we help those guys take their ideas, whether they've already launched or thinking about starting a business, and we make it a business instead of a side hustle where they're just grinding themselves into the ground. And, it's all about, we've got guys and gals that are, successful coaches, authors, we've got people that are running, buying businesses and, hair salons. And, I got one guy that started, he's about to retire. He started a mobile cigar, a mobile cigar bar. It's cool as hell, man. It's just,
that sounds really neat there. I never heard of that before.
He loves cigars, loves talking about it. So, we sat down, we brainstormed, and we came up with this thing. And man, it's about to launch in like 2 weeks, and it is amazing. It's already, got books. It's booked out for the next 3 months. So, just stuff like that, where we actually help guys go from an idea to reality and make it profitable. And, a lot of times we'll come up with ideas and they're not really profitable because no one's taught us. And basically we act like FTOs, and that's the way we can, it makes sense for people in our field. When we entered the academy, we didn't know anything, but we had coaches, mentors, DIs, if you would, that taught us how to do this thing and yelled at us and everything. But the bottom line was how to train us to be a cop, right? And then we had FTOs that made sure that we transitioned, and here's the academy, here's the reality. And then after a year, you master the job. I mean, it's all pretty much the same thing, and no one day is the same. But you got a pretty a good idea how to do things, and that's it. That's the same thing with business. Cops are perfect for business. They should never be scared. Most of it is like, I don't know what to do, how to do it. And we just tell people, hey, it's all about, what you want to do. And the how is easy. It's really, if you change your mind, it's really who knows how to do this thing. Somebody has done this, and that's what happens.
So you wrote a book, or?
No. We started this company, not yet. So my team is pushing me to write a book. Where that's in the process. Podcast is coming out soon, probably next week or two. We'll be dropping that. But no, we're mostly on LinkedIn. That we connect directly with first responders, and we have a conversation, see where they're at, and we take. We'll either help your business, or we'll help you develop a business, or we'll teach you how to do real estate, or wherever you're at. It's really about their vision. Some guys want an extra $3,000. Okay, so it's easy. We'll help you figure out what business works for you. And some they want to build an empire. Okay, here's how we actually do this instead of just talking about it. So,
yeah. Well, what's the name of your podcast going to be?
Be Dangerous.
B Majors?
Nope. Be Dangerous.
Be Dangerous. Let me write it down so I can put that in the show note.
Yeah. Be Dangerous with Monty B. Yep. So, we got all this, this attitude of we need to be soft. We need to be passive. We need to, Just
I don't know. I ain't never had that attitude. I think that might be why I got too much trouble.
that's exactly right.
It's like, cause I was told one time, it's like, well, can you not like talk? So, I mean, they said that you wasn't rude, but you made them really nervous. I was like, good.
Yeah.
I said, that's what I want. I want them to be nervous about me. Cause if they're nervous about me, they're not going to attack my ass.
Right.
But I wasn't rude to them. But yeah, when I'm there, to me, I got to have that command presence. And I know a lot of these, I've talked about this in some other shows, a lot of these young cops don't have no command presence no more. They're not teaching them to have that presence. When I walk up, that's what I was trying to explain to people. It's like when I walk up, if I walk up to somebody's house for domestic and I walk in there, I want them to think, hey, this motherfucker just took my house from me.
Yeah.
I'm alpha now in this house, okay, until I leave you. Then you can have it back.
100%.
But I got to have that command. When I walk, you got to have that presence. If you walk in, I mean, bad guys are just like, people are animals. We're mammals just like anything else. We're like animals. Don't think that bad guy can't smell fear.
Oh, Lord, man.
Don't think they ain't looking at you. Oh, this dude's scared. He's sizing you up just like, I mean, maybe people aren't like that no more. I mean, I'm sure you are. When I meet another man, or see, just walking down the street, I'm sizing him up. How big is his arms? How's he look? How's he holding himself? Does he look like he's been fighting?
You can be a big dude, but if you're slumped over and you got you don't look like
you won't make eye contact or nothing like that. Yeah, I mean,
yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, we need to get back to that. Somehow that's demonized to be dangerous. We don't even want to. You don't even want to pursue your goals anymore. You just want to be passive. People want to tell you to be passive. Don't say that. You're being rude. Well, hold on here.
Don't hurt nobody's feelings.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody wins without trying. There are there's no consequences for losing. There's no. I mean, it's just like, look, come on, we gotta man up. We gotta really. It's time to cowboy up. That's just the bottom line.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something that's scary. I was speaking. There's a great kid. He's a great kid. He's actually getting out of law enforcement there, but he's a good kid. And when I say kid, he's in his 20s. I actually married him and his wife not too long ago. But he's a good kid. But we were talking one time about some stuff I talked about on a podcast. He's like he had disagreed with me, which is great. I love to have a discussion. People are so scared to have a discussion with people that disagree with them. I want to talk with people that disagree with me. I might learn something, Yeah. I'm not the smartest person in anything. And hey, if you can change my mind, you might teach me something. I might be like, oh, I didn't know that, But me and him were talking, and it was about a use of force incident. Well, I finally looked at him. I said, let me ask you something. I said, you ever got punched in the face really, really hard? Like, I'm talking about where you seen Tweety birds and shit. You know what he answered me? No. He's never been, the boy ain't ever been in a fist fight in his entire life. Yeah. He's out here trying to, now I'm scared. Now, made me nervous. What's going to happen if you're trying to help me and you get punched in the face for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, you remember going to school, high school, and all that, and that was pretty common. Like, and now, I mean, there's like, you think that was. Look, I don't want anybody to get in fights and everything or that kind of stuff. I don't want it to be like Gladiator Academy or anything. But growing up, that stuff happened, right? Even you just wrestling with your friends. Now it's like, that's not really.
I would zero tolerance, and nowadays, unfortunately, when kids get in a fight with each other, whoever loses wants to go get a gun and shoot somebody.
Yeah.
Back when I got my ass beat lots of times, I beat other people's ass lots of times, and guess what? I mean, I got my ass beat, and I'm like, "Oh, dude, you got me. Don't hit me no more, please. Yeah. We're done. You won." Like, all right, we shake hands and like. You hungry? Yeah, let's go get something to eat. And we go eat lunch together. Because it was done. Hey, you beat my ass. You won. Hey, don't hit me no more. Maybe next time, Because they ain't saying we ain't ever going to fight again, but the fight was over, Right. It's done. But now, not now. Nope. Well, they're not even gonna fight now. They're just gonna go get a gun and shoot each other.
Yeah.
We had guns in our cars at school.
Yeah.
Because we'd go hunting after school. So we'd have rifles hanging up. We had pocket knives in our pocket. You know how many people got shot or stabbed? Zero.
Yeah.
Zero. And it's just, I don't understand that.
Yeah. It's part of what we, have allowed, that permissive attitude that everything's possible and nothing is,
How much you get? People's like, no, you got to have winners and losers.
Yeah.
You can't, you're going to be a winner sometimes, but guess what? You're going to be a loser most of the time.
Yeah.
You can't win at everything.
That's right. And it's funny when you go overseas where, the attitude's different. They don't have this kind of, they don't have this kind of attitude where they're like, everything is okay. No. You want to complain and bitch about America, but then try going overseas. See how that flies. See how, you're free, all this stuff that you think is okay, and everybody should be. Don't work like that.
Look, I will put this out here. I will buy tickets. I will pay for the airfare out of my own pocket for any gay person that wants to go to Palestine that supports Palestine.
Yeah,
I'm only gonna buy a one-way ticket because I guarantee you, because they're like, gays for Palestine. I was like, oh wait, hold up a minute. Did I hear that? But do you not realize that those people hate you? Yeah. It's like you go over there, they will stone you to death. It's like we are way more tolerant over here. Because me personally, I don't care if you want to be gay, be gay. Leave the kids alone. That's a whole different thing. Leave the kids alone. I don't care. I'm just saying it's the hypocrisy of it. You're idiots. These people hate you. Right. The same country that you hollering you hate this country so bad but if you went anywhere else in the world and tried to do what you're doing, you would be imprisoned or killed. 100%. And what pisses me off is my grandpa was a World War II veteran, POW. He was an ex-POW, got captured by the Japanese. He fought in the Korean War. My grandpa lied about his age to go fight in the war. My dad was a Vietnam veteran and stuff, and y'all, you people over here are just, spitting on everything they put their lives on the line for. Yeah,
and here's the thing: those that want to hang on to power are letting it happen in the name of, we're trying to evolve and get on. No, what you're doing is kowtowing to people instead of leading. You want to make sure that you're not leading. You're not showing leadership. No, they're wrong. Someone needs to tell them they're wrong. That's not how, I can accept some people and, hey, if you want to love over, everybody, that's fine. That's cool. But you want to start demonizing other people and, hey, this Republican's bad and this one's good. No. That's just nonsense. That's just nonsense.
Well, I tell anybody, I'm telling anybody, I'll lean, left, but right. But I'm gonna tell you what I've told them before. They don't realize I vote for who I think is going to be the best person in the office. I don't care what letter they have behind their name. Way back in the day, for the first time, I tell everybody, look at me like I'm crazy. The first time I voted for Clinton, the first time. Yeah. Okay, I'm like, hey, trust me, if somebody better. I'm a big Trump fan. I met the man. He's a great man. Tell you the truth, you know who I'd have rather gotten at this time? Vivek Ramaswamy. I think that dude is freaking smart and awesome. I think he'd have been a great president. He didn't get it. But I'm sure not going to vote for a guy with dementia. Pick out. Like I said, I don't care what you got behind your name. I tell anybody that. I'll vote Democrat in a heartbeat if that's the better person. Yeah. Just give me the better person. I get so tired of all this, the aisle here, the aisle here. Let's just put people in there that want to help us, let us be free, and you do what you're supposed to do when you're in office. Do what the people want. I don't need somebody telling me what to say, what to think, what to eat, and all this stuff like that. I don't need that. I'm like, if you want to call yourself a is, shim, and them, that's fine. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to play in your fantasy. And if it hurts your feelings, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to play into it.
You actually demonize, like you said it, right? you demonize and actually, because words, we actually
Sticks and stones as high as raised.
It really said that I don't know. I think it's New Jersey or somewhere else. Also, if you get it wrong, cops are getting in trouble. Are we living in is this bizarro world or what? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, how can you get in trouble? It's like, all right, so I'm going to have to not be polite now because, I'm from the South. You from the South, if you're in Georgia and stuff.
Right.
I'll pull over a 18-year-old person and say, "Sir, can I have your driver's license?" Ma'am, I'm old enough to be this person's grandpa almost, their father.
Right.
And I just try to show respect all the time. So if I call you the wrong, I don't know. So now I got to say, "Hey, you."
Nope.
That's rude. I refuse to. If I walk up and you got makeup on and a beard, you're going to get a sir out of me. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be rude.
I will. I refuse. Yeah. I'll go to court on that. You can put me in jail for what are you in for? I told this person he was a.
I said,
sir.
"Yes, sir."
Yeah. What? Yeah. I'm hard, man.
Freaking down in the streets.
Exactly. This is unbelievable, dude.
Oh, the times we were in.
That nonsense. I know these are your people. These crazy nuts are your people. I'm not standing for it.
Well, it's just like on all these platforms now. When I was filling out my thing with LinkedIn, I was like, I skip over it. I can't come like I am not. I went to the doctor the other day filling out my thing. I'm like, I almost wrote some shit in there, I'm going to tell you. All right? Because I'm waiting. I'm kind of, I got a wrath face is what it's called. People always say, why are you mad? I'm not mad. God made me look like this. It's called a resting asshole face. That's what I call it, the wrath face. And but so people always like, oh, you look so mean. I'm really a nice person until you piss me off. I'm probably one of the nice people, once they get to know me, they're like, oh, you're like, I just look mean. But I'm like, so I haven't gotten it yet, but I've been waiting for somebody. One day is going to say, well, my pronouns are, I'm like, don't hit me with it because it's not really a pronoun.
Yeah.
But what I'm going to tell them is if they say my pronouns, I'm a they, them, and zer, or whatever, I'm going to say, well, I like to.
Mean? You got to explain to me. What does that mean? What am I supposed to do with that?
I don't know. I'm going to tell them.
How do you start a conversation? I don't even understand it.
Well,
what is that supposed to mean?
Well, instead of like saying, she went to the store, you're supposed to say they went to the store. Well, what they? Because it's only one person. What are you, Sybil? Is your name Sybil? Because, I'm going to tell them, say, well, if you're a they, I'm Sweet Dick Daddy with the candy balls, but you can just call me Daddy, okay? Because I want to tell them that because I got a mouth on me and, I don't care. But because my wife's like, oh, my God, I can't believe you said that to somebody. Because I'll say stuff to people.
Right, me too.
I was like,
my resume has always been tight, so I'd be like, you know what, I can take that. And when they start giving me money, on the side, and I started earning my own money, man, you couldn't tell me anything. I'm like, nope, not today, not this dude. This is not for this dude. And so when I get on seed, man, if you disrespected my agents, man, it's gonna. I came from Philly, where we put hands on people.
I'm an old school cop. I'm still hands on.
And when I came down here, it was funny. That's how when I left and went in the Marine Corps, that's how it was. When I came out, it started to soften up, and they were like letting people get this close and kind of talk a lot of stuff. And I'm like, no, we do not do that. I don't care what. I don't know how. No, we will respect and treat people. But the minute you start putting hands on stuff, that's another dance that we're going to do. There's going to be some furniture moving up in here in a minute. So you better. You can be disrespectful to me. You're disrespectful to one of my officers. This is going to be a whole nother story. So just because you're about to get into a whole different kind.
See, you started also like I did. When I started, we didn't have no tasers.
Right.
We had a gun.
Yep.
We had a stick. Well, I didn't carry a stick. I carried one of those 8 D-cell mag lights.
Yep.
It was like this long and weighed like 30 pounds. I could hit you from across the room with it. And I had that, and we started with pepper, and then we went to freeze plus P. But that's what we carried. We didn't when I first started the department I had. We didn't even have portable radios. We had a mic clip on our rotating bar lights. We used to clip our mic through the window in case we were lucky enough to get back to our car if we needed help. So once you got out your car, there was no calling for backup. You had to handle your own business. And yeah, and it was like that's how it was. So yeah, but we were hands-on people back then. I mean, you didn't have tasers and all that crap like that. And these younger kids, I see so much of it. I'm like, I see a lot of cops. I believe they're getting hurt because they pull that taser out when they should have pulled a gun out. Yeah, it's like, and the tasers. I'm taser certified and still don't carry it. Because everybody's like, why don't you carry your taser? I said, because it's 40% effective. I said, I still carry my spray. It pretty much works 90% of the time, But you might get backsplash on you. So what? It burns. I've been through it several times. I was like, that taser, I've seen people, they tase them. It's like, okay, the guy had a knife and you pulled the taser. No, you have a knife, I'm pulling a gun out. Yeah. No, it's like, no. So I believe the taser's getting cops hurt, being soft. I realized it was time for me to look at my retirement about a year ago when I went I backed up a uniformed guy on a call. It was a juvenile call. This kid had put his hands on his grandma who had custody of him. Yeah. I got there first. I was talking to grandma. Kid's about 15, bigger than grandma. And he's on the phone with his mama who don't have custody of him. Mm-hmm. And, of course, what is she doing? She's stirring the fucking pot. Oh, wow. Well, the young rookie cop comes in, I'm sitting there, and I looked at, I said, the lady's on the phone, FaceTime. I finally looked at her. I said, is that your mama on the phone? He's like, my mama. I reached over and I snatched that phone out that kid's hand. I looked at it. I said, you see this face, lady? Yeah. I said, good. Click. And I hung up on her. That kid said, you can't do that. I looked at that kid. I said, I just fucking did. What you going to do about it? I said, you want to put hands on me like you did your grandma? I just go quiet. I said, go ahead. I said, push me. I said, you're going to find out how hard it is to swallow all them goddamn teeth in your mouth, too. Well, that rookie cop is over here. I'm pretty sure he had to go change his drawers after because he was seeing his career flying out the window at this point, And he's just shitting on himself. Well, I ended up handling the call, and we did what we had to do with it. And when we were leaving, that kid's he's freaking white, just pale white. I was like, I said, don't worry about it. I said, they saw my face. If anything comes of it, it's on me, okay? Just calm down. He would have never handled that shit like that. He'd have let that woman just sit there and stir that shit up. It's not going to happen. Right. Not in my presence anyway.
Oh, that's amazing, man. It's just, that's sad, brother. I mean, I don't know what to,
it scares me. It scares me.
I'm in Atlanta, and these guys are being battered like they're being trained, and subconsciously, be better. Second guess yourself. You better make sure that you don't put your hands on. And you know how dangerous it is. Things
second guessing yourself get you killed. Yep. You got milliseconds to make decisions. Yeah, between life and death.
Yeah, we don't go out and hurt anybody, but come on now. Come on. This is a real job. We're not at Walmart greeting people.
I tell everybody we got to, if you want to go home. I've never got up in the morning or at night or whatever, getting dressed, putting my duty belt and everything else on, thinking, man, I hope I get to shoot somebody. I hope I get to beat somebody's ass or something like that. I ain't never in my life done that. Right. I don't go out wanting to hurt anybody, but I'm not going to let nobody hurt me, and I'm going to protect somebody else. I mean, because one time I told this rookie cop one time, I said, he said something, I forget what he said, but I looked at him and said, if you ain't willing to die to save somebody else's life, I said, go turn your shit in, because this ain't the job for you. I don't want to work with you. He's looked at me. I said, yeah. If I got to die, I'd rather take a bullet and die on the street knowing that I did my best to save somebody else's life, and they could hate my guts as being a cop, than to know I cowered down or ran away or let something happen to them. I couldn't live with myself.
That's just who we are, man. Like, again, these departments are in positions where, you had to be an alpha. Very few people that came in that had the beta attitude that we're getting through. You had to be an alpha. Now, they ain't got no choice.
They want the betas. They don't want guys like me and you.
No, they think, hey, this'll work. This'll be fine. And that it won't work.
No, they're going to, unfortunately, they're going to find out. Like I said, it's scary. Like I said, you want to tell them about your business more, or how people can get in touch with you? Because I can run my mouth forever. I'm a gabster.
Hey, man, I have to come down to Louisiana and grab a beer and get some
Get you some boudin.
There you go. Yeah. So, the website is thewealthyservant.com, and we exclusively work with first responders. That's it. And we have a community where these guys feel, hey, they can come in and get supported. When we have our ideas and building businesses, sometimes these guys at work, they're naysayers and whatever. I get it. That's why we created this community where they can come in and be supported by, a group that are trying to do the same thing, trying to better their lives and trying to, grow something. And so that's my whole business, is to help these first responders not be trapped, man. We love this job. I don't want to leave. I stayed for almost 6 years after I, technically was financially free, because I loved it. And I didn't have to do paid jobs. I didn't have to do, extra stuff. So it was a blessing. And as I left, I will tell you this funny story, though. It was about my businesses. We were, like I told you, I was mostly a narc. And, one day, it just actually happened last year, just before I left. But we're following this drug dealer all over Atlanta. And there's probably about 8 of us following this guy, and we're all, in the streets, and where's he going? Where's he going? He's on a motorcycle, and we're figuring, yeah, he's going to make a drop, man. We got this dude. And he pulls up to this laundromat, and everybody's surrounding. Okay, we got all the exits, covered. If he leaves that way and he jumps on the highway, we got him here. We got him here. We got him here. Okay, cool. Set up surveillance. I'm in the back because it's my case, and I'm keeping the command and up to date with what's going on. And I pull in, and everybody's like, what's going on? Hey, So I said, guys, I'll be off the radio for about 5 minutes. Come back on 5 minutes later. All right. His name is Steve Smith, and he lives at 123 Main Street, and and he banks here. And they're like, what? How do you know? Are you making out what the, what kind of bull? I'm like, all right, here's the thing, guys. That laundromat he just went in, I own that. And so I called my manager, and she's like, hey, that guy that just came in, look at this thing. And, so we end the day, these guys didn't want to know anything about that dude. They wanted to know about the businesses that I own. So, yeah, but, so that's what I do, man. I try to help these guys. I just want them to be free. I don't want them necessarily to leave the job. I just want them to have an option. Yeah. That's when stuff gets tough really in this job is when we feel trapped. And you know that, man. Like it's when we can do this and we're feeling like, you're pretty free. You've got things paid down and everything. You seem like you have pretty good. Oh yeah, I'm at the point. I don't have to work extra duty and all that stuff like that. It's a great feeling knowing that I don't have to. When I get off, I get off. I don't have to, work 7 days a week. Right. And stuff like that. I do some extra stuff, but it's because I enjoy doing it, like parade escorts and working LSU football. That's all I do. That's same here, Georgia football. That's when I never worked a paid job until I was an agent with state of Georgia, and then I volunteered to go up because I got to see it live, man. And there's nothing like that energy. But other than that, I never worked a paid job in my career. I didn't have to, and I loved. Again, I invested my time in my family, and that's what I want these guys to have the option to be able to do what they want to do. And,
Yeah, because it's like I talked about in some other one. This job will you can destroy a family quick. Just
100.
like I said, keep your pecker in your pants. Because
That's right.
that's a lot of it. Because they got a lot of badge bunnies out there, and hey, I was not the best husband. I'm on wife number 6, and
Wow.
yeah, I got a good one. And you know what? I would, the common denominator and all them other was me.
Right.
It's just
that's all.
you got to think about. I'm lucky enough, I'm good friends with one of my ex-wives still, but I apologize or anything else. I mean, but you make bad decisions at the time, especially when you're younger. You don't realize that how many people you are hurting and destroying and stuff like that, and because you're only thinking about yourself at the time. So, but then don't put this job in front of your family, especially your kids and stuff like that. Don't skip. Don't skip out on them baseball games and birthday parties unless you're on duty and you have no choice. Don't take that extra duty when you have that stuff, because that extra couple $100 ain't gonna make up for all the memories and stuff that you missed out on. And I'm talking from experience on that one.
Yeah, 100%, man. Man, Iceman, it's been great talking to you, man.
But you're not just cops. You're like firefighters and all that stuff, right?
All that stuff, paramedics. We're going to open it up soon to teachers and nurses, because they have the same servant heart. That's really what it's all about. We think differently. It's not all about the money. So but it is a purpose. But it is, that's a good part of it. So out there, I've dealt with civilians. There's a lot of them that they don't think the same. They don't act the same. So we just don't have that community for them. That's not what we have. So that's it.
All right. Well, I appreciate you. Don't hang up yet, and definitely hit me up whenever your podcast hits, and I'll put it out too.
100%. Thank you, sir.
Everybody, stay safe out there. Watch your back, watch your partner's back. Remember, we're not sheepdogs. We're lions. And until the next episode.
I love that. That's awesome.